everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the story of a killer garage rock band from Dallas, Texas, The Gentlemen. These guys might not be household names, but their music, especially their hit song, It's a Crying Shame, is legendary in garage rock circles. The Gentlemen formed in 1964 in Oak Cliff, a part of Dallas. Like many bands, they went through a few lineup changes, but the driving force behind their sound was guitarist and songwriter Seb Meter. Think of him as their musical mastermind. Meter was heavily influenced by British bands like the Rolling Stones, the Animals, the Kinks, and especially the Yardbirds' Jeff Beck. This gave the Gentlemen a bluesier edge compared to some of the more pop-oriented bands of the time. Interestingly enough, Jimmy Vaughan, older brother of Stevie Ray Vaughan and later of the Fabulous Thunderbirds, had a brief stint with the Gentlemen in late 1965 and early 1966. He didn't record with them, but it's a cool piece of music history. He then moved on to another Dallas band, the Chessmen. Early on, the band recorded some tracks at Summit Recording Studio, including Beg, Borrow, or Steal, and Here I Cannot Stay. These early recordings featured Seb Meter on guitar and vocals, Tim Justice on drums, Jimmy Randall on bass, and Mike Kelly on guitar. By early 1966, the Gentlemen's classic lineup solidified with Seb Meter on lead guitar and vocals, Mike Kelly on guitar and vocals, Tim Justice on drums, Bruce Bland on bass, and Tommy Turner on keyboards. They became a popular live act, playing iconic Dallas and Fort Worth venues like Luann's Club, the Studio Club, Panther A Go-Go, and The Box. They even opened for some huge names. Can you imagine opening for James Brown? The Gentlemen did. They played at the Dallas Convention Center, a huge venue for them. Tim Justice recounts a funny story about that gig. They walked on stage, 5 white teenagers from Oak Cliff, and were met with a completely black audience. Dallas was very segregated back then. But guess what? Their music transcended those barriers. As Justice recalls, nervous breakdown was going over great, and eventually, people started dancing, breaking down the racial divide with the power of rock and roll.
You in a way. I love you, and it's a crying shame. Know that I love you. I put no one above you. It's no use. It's a crying shame. Why am I lonely each and every night? Even though I try, I can't forget your sight. Why do I love you when you don't love me?
The Gentlemen also shared the stage with Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels, the Beau Brummels, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Roy Orbison. They were making a name for themselves. Then Tom Brown, the president of Van Den Records, saw them play and offered them a chance to record. They worked with Brown and his arranger, Gene Gerritsen, and came up with 2 songs, the ballad You Can't Be True and the raw, fuzz-drenched rocker It's a Crying Shame. Ironically, You Can't Be True was chosen as the A-side, and a lot of time and money was invested in it. It's a Crying Shame, which they liked better, was recorded much more quickly. Sebe Meter even had a hole in his Vox Super Beetle amp so he could stick his guitar neck in it to get that signature fuzz tone. Tom Brown pressed 2,000 copies and sent them to DJs across the country. It's a Crying Shame started getting airplay, and it even appeared in Record World magazine alongside Jefferson Airplane. The Gentlemen's popularity soared locally. They were mobbed by fans, a taste of real rock star fame. Unfortunately, the record label owner ran out of money and disappeared. The Gentlemen never saw him again. In 1967, Sebe Meter left the band, and although they continued with a new guitarist, they eventually disbanded in early 1968. Sebe Meter and Jimmy Randall later formed bands like the Hurricanes and the Werewolves. Tragically, Sebe Meter passed away in 1980 at the young age of 34. Despite their short career, the Gentlemen left behind a lasting legacy with It's a Crying Shame. It's considered a garage rock classic, appearing on numerous compilations and receiving high praise from critics and fans alike. It's a true testament to the raw energy and talent of the Gentlemen. So, there you have it, the story of the Gentlemen, a band that burned bright for a few years and left behind a timeless garage rock anthem. What do you think of It's a Crying Shame? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more music history videos. Thanks for watching!